Welcome to Failed Forward, a podcast for professionals who are wondering, how the hell did I get here?
Join your host, Rachel Durkin, and me, Donna Miller, as we discuss the messy, bumpy, and often unattractive journey to success.
After all, if it isn't hard to do, is it really worth doing? Hello, and welcome to Failed Forward, the podcast for those of us who are wondering, how the hell did I get here? My name is Rachel Durkin. I'm with Paradigm Marketing and Design. Paradigm is a web marketing, branding, and sales enablement agency that specializes in working with the clients with a complex sale. We help sales teams shorten sales cycles and increase the number of meetings their sales team is having. And I am joined by my amazing co-host, Donna Miller. Donna, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. So great to see you once again. I am Donna Miller, Chief Visionary Officer at C3 Workplace and founder of Donna Miller Business Growth Consulting, where for the last 30 years, we've been helping companies to accelerate their growth by providing office space, business advisory, and support services. Clients come to us because they know we will build efficient, interconnected systems that they can execute on and scale.
And today we have an amazing guest with us who Donna and I have known for a very long time. She is part of our mastermind group. She has heard all the dirty and ugly and shared some of her own with us that we've gone through over the years. And I would love to introduce and welcome Rosanne DeTorres.
Hey, thanks so much for the opportunity. I'm really glad to be here. I'm Rosanne DeTorres, and I am the managing partner of DeTorres and DeGeorge Family Law. And we are a boutique law firm specializing in family law and divorce. We like to say we help you lose the weight of your unhappy marriage. And we do that by our iron fist and velvet glove approach to resolving conflict. So if we have to take our iron fist out, we will, but we're much happier using our velvet glove approach. So we settle 99% of the cases that we take without going to court. And Rachel, you should know that because Paradigm, and Donna, you should also know that because you have been both integral to our amazing success and growth and scaling over the past, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have shot out of the cannon in your growth. It's been incredible to watch. And, you started as a tiny firm and now you have a huge footprint in the counties that you serve, a huge brand awareness. Tell us a little bit about like the success you have, because we want to brag a little bit and then we'll talk about the crap it took to get here. But tell us a little bit about like your journey.
Well, I had practiced law by myself for a long time, and then I met my partner, Erin DeGeorge, and I started giving her like a little project here and there because I was busy by myself. And it just went from there. She had such a great work ethic. If you've never met Erin DeGeorge, she's an amazing attorney, but also the human being that she is. We've been together now 13 years. On Monday, it'll be 13 years. Yeah, April Fool's Day. And I said after a while, hey, let's get together and do this, really do it like a partnership. And so we did. And we started that in Flemington in Hunterdon County. But I started doing some market research. I started meeting some entrepreneurs who started putting seeds in my mind about how to maybe do this a little better. I was getting older. I started thinking about my future. What did I have, that I want? So we did some market research and we realized that most of our clients were coming from within a 15-mile radius of our firm, and there just isn't enough density. And I also knew the incidence of divorce statistically within that radius because I did the research myself. And realized that even though a lot of our work is electronic, people want to be near their divorce attorney or their family law attorney. They're not going to go 50 miles to get there. And because Hunterdon is a more rural county, we decided let's pick another county where we can put a little satellite. So we chose Morristown. And I joined the Morris County Chamber of Commerce. And that's how I met you, Rachel. I actually met Donna through the Women Presidents Organization, and I became a member of the Women Presidents Organization through a gal out here in Hunterdon, Ann Thornton, who owns a plumbing and remodeling company. She got me into WPO. I went to one of the WPO conferences in Baltimore, I met Donna. I met Kim Luthi there. And it's just been, and then really you guys taught me how to scale. You helped me put the processes in place to make it really kind of go itself. You helped me allocate my resources, and it takes money to make money. They say that's true, but it is. But it's always a question of what's the ROI on this, that, or the other thing that you want to try to do. And you guys have really both educated me about that. Now I'd like, if you don't mind, I'd like more running itself without.
So I'm hearing a common theme.
Could I get that?
Maybe that's the challenge.
And you'll get there, I'm sure. But I'm hearing a common theme here in your growth, and it sounded like your network. Like you really did a good job in building your tribe and the people around you. So, I'd love to hear more about that. How did that help you become successful?
Well, it's funny because I would say it's only in the last 2 years that I really think we have all the right people on the bus, so to speak, rowing in the right direction, all the same people that have the same values, but different personality types. I didn't know how vital that was. It takes a lot of growth. It's kind of like, be careful what you wish for, because when you grow and scale, it's just more people, more challenges come.
I think as you grow and you scale, the problems become more complex.
They do.
So they take a little bit of untangling to straighten them out and decide what comes next. So as you think about this, you've talked about network, and the three of us know very well that you can't grow a successful business in isolation. It just it's simply a recipe for burnout. So you've found yourself plugging into these things. What were your challenges, or what were the challenges that you almost didn't know you had until you started plugging in and you kind of went, aha, there's a better way?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is getting the right talent, I think, in hindsight. Now, I've had the benefit of this education from my colleagues like you. And I really did not put enough emphasis on getting the right people in the seat, because once you have that and they buy into kind of what you're doing, it's much easier to get all those systems and processes in place, because they basically train them in a way. Once they know what they're supposed to do, that's the second challenge, me letting go and learning to let them go and do whatever it is that their job is. But it's getting that. The first piece is getting the talent. The second is me letting it go. I think the third piece is, how do I train them? I'm a good lawyer. I went to law school. I was one of the top of my class, but I don't really know anything about running a business except what I learned on the job. So I'm not great at picking the right people on the bus, evaluating the people we have, and can they be, can they grow with us? Can we help them evolve into what we want them to be, if you will? Does that answer your question?
I was speaking to a really smart gentleman a couple weeks ago who grew his business from nothing, from one person, and ended up selling it to, on the stock market, on the stock exchange. So like he went through all the journey, right? The entire journey.
Yeah.
And he said something really insightful to me. And he said, growing your business, like there's obstacles where it's easy and then hard. So what gets you to $1 million is not going to be what gets you to 3 million. And then the next for him in the professional service market, 3 million to 10, and then 10 to 25. And the thing is that 3 to 10, if that's hard, because that's when you have to start trusting and letting go. Even at 3, we can still be micromanagers, sort of. But, over that 3 range, you've got to trust other people.
That's right.
And it's funny because in college, and I got my master's degree, my MBA, and I understand marketing, I understand finance, I understand operations. And I'm like, HR, that's not important. And like, all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, that's really freaking important. And so building that culture and that trust and letting go is such a hard hurdle for a lot of business owners and business leaders, in my mind. So you're not alone. How did you do it? Or how are you doing it?
With help. I'm coachable. I'm a lifelong learner. I was open to being educated and to learn. We do personality tests before we hire people now. Um, we gave all the people that we had personality tests so so we could figure out how best to communicate with them. I'll give you an example. My paralegal, who is my right arm, I mean, she controls my calendar. She makes anything that has to be followed up on. You can imagine.
Mhm.
I'm not going to tell you how many active cases I have because it's insane. It can be insane
Yeah.
sometimes. She's that person that keeps all those things moving, if you will. There's a lot
Mhm.
of details in family law. Somebody has
Mhm.
to be very detail oriented. Now I am, but I can't be detail oriented and on the phone counseling clients and talking to lawyers. So she takes care of the details. So my personality is very much more a 30,000 foot view kind of
Mhm.
way of looking at things. Big picture, let's do this. I'm real quick at making decisions. I can work anywhere. I don't need a lot of paper. There does seem to be a lot of paper over there, but that's really nothing compared to my partner, Erin DeGeorge's office. You can't see her behind the desk. There's so much paper. But I didn't know that about Tori. I didn't
Mhm.
know that she really needed me to be here, number one, to work side by side with her, but also that her way of making decisions required a lot more data. I'm
Mhm.
much more, all right, that sounds good. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And so that's how we did it. And I mean, I learned that frankly through Donna.
Hmm. And
Who,
there's so much strength in knowing how other people, because my COO is the same way, all data, and I'm high level. And it's funny because we're doing a push right now in my company for attention to detail. And it's hilarious because I am the biggest offender when it comes to attention to detail. Like I've gotten my hand slapped more times than anybody else in the company, but everybody, all these skills are needed, and then they've got to fit together the right way.
and I think also what's very interesting is that um, my partner, I didn't realize that I learned a lot about my law partner.
Mm-hmm.
And we found that there is somebody on our team who has the personality needed to be a rainmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Oh.
one that, right? So that helps us. Okay, are they interested in being a rainmaker? Is this a talent we can develop? It's so much better. It's so much more efficient, I think, cost effective, frankly, from a business perspective, to invest in the people that you've got if they can be
Mm-hmm.
helped along the way to become what they, a more vital role in the company. But also we do like them. We genuinely like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really important. We get along well. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of food together, and that's also very important.
Mm-hmm.
The common thread that I hear in this conversation, and I've watched both of you in your journeys, and I've had I've had a little bit of a peek behind behind the curtain as well. But I would love, Rosanne, for you to kind of share with our audience, this comes down to, yes, having the right people on the bus and the right seats, and we've talked about that many times, but it really comes down to relationship, communication, and trust. And when you have to right the ship, which some of us as a horrible, well, now I'm not horrible anymore, but a recovered micromanager, you've often heard me say there was no situation I couldn't make worse. I had no credibility and no trust with my team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that might not have been your case, but what was the process? Talk to me a little bit about how you gained trust to develop that rapport where you learn to meet each other's needs.
I shut up, number one.
Stop right there. What did you say?
I shut up and listened.
Oh, that's
Because I'll tell you what, one quick example. I would run our weekly huddles. Me, I'm the boss. So everybody come in, nobody said a word but me.
Mm-hmm.
Our huddles now are run by our practice manager. Now everybody talks.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. And I listen more. And we go around. I don't say anything unless invited to until it gets to be my turn. And when you listen and shut up and you get that's me being vulnerable. So then they become more willing to be vulnerable and say things that are difficult, not wrong, just challenging. There's a challenge we're facing. And it could be a personality challenge. It could be a process challenge. It could be a money challenge, whatever. But it's coming out now. we're all getting together once a week, like, okay, where's everybody at? Who's being challenged? What's on your mind? And our practice manager is kind of the funnel and brings that to the table. It doesn't mean you can't bring something new up at the table. It's just that she became like a point person to sort of run interference between all the people, all the team. There's a lot less gossiping, triangulating doesn't happen because everybody knows there's a place they can vent without repercussion. But also our code of conduct says, bring a solution. You're not just complaining. What do you think we could do? What does it need? What needs to change? And what needs to improve? Okay. But no bitching.
Okay. Okay, working. So, there's so much richness in all of that. As you look back, Rosanne, what do you think the most important lesson is, singular? I know that's really hard, that you've learned thus far in your illustrious career.
I mean, if you're talking about a business, in terms of business growth, what have I learned? It's to be coachable.
And how do you
Willing
become?
to
I mean, because the truth is, as a consultant, I can talk, but and I don't work with people who don't listen to me, or I don't work with them for much longer. But that's not an assumption. You can't assume people are going to listen. So what makes you listen? What motivates you to change?
I think it's, okay, now we're getting into the existential question of the day. I really think it's just about purpose and really when you get right down to it, like the most essential thing that motivates me is it feeds my purpose. And that has to do with my faith and things like that. But I don't think it's like this big grand thing. It's not this big grand thing that I'm doing. I'm simply trying to make my little corner of the world a better place. And I think my God put me here in this place in Clinton today, which is where I come almost every single day with these 10 people to make their lives a little better. We are all investing in the same thing to try to make our clients' lives a little better, get them through a very challenging period of their life. But I can make a difference right here. People are going to stick around here. We're building like a little family. Yeah, we're building a family. We're putting down roots, and I think that is my contribution, if you will. As much it's good enough for me. I think it's good enough for. And I live here with my daughter and her son, my son, her husband. He's my son-in-law, but that's why I do it. I just my personality. I mean, I have a lot of grit, but I do it because I think it's what I'm supposed to be doing, essentially.
So if you could go back and do one thing differently, what would it be?
I would not try to do everything myself. Now, I know in the beginning, in the embryonic stage, you may have to. You wear a lot of hats. But if you read the E-Myth book, which is one of the first, I think it was actually the first book I read.
Yeah, so good.
You may have to do that in the beginning to get things going, but then you got to get somebody else because your time is more valuable spent doing something that grows the business.
Yeah.
And not executing process.
That's so important as like to scale. And sometimes people decide they don't want to scale because it's too hard. And that's okay. But if you want to scale and you want to be able to have the business run without you, you've got to learn that lesson. And it's so hard to learn.
Yeah. So my belief is, and I say this all the time, bigger isn't always better.
Right.
But more profitable in less hours really works for me. Yeah. And it really works for the people that I'm working with.
We could do a whole podcast on utilization.
I could hear our teams cringing.
Yeah. Right. But it's where you're at, right? Are we just making money for money's sake, or what, you know what I mean? Like, we love that people, when they drive in the driveway of our building, they're happy to come in, but it's a profit-making venture. So let's figure out, are we really making any money?
So Roseanne, we are running up on time. Tell our audience how they can contact you or get in touch with you.
Well, our website is dndfamilylaw.com. You could type in DeTorres and DeGeorge. Our phone is 908-284-6005. I almost didn't remember our phone number.
I don't remember my phone number either.
Right?
Makes me feel
Your phone
anything.
number. Or you can email info@dndfamilylaw.com. You can email me directly, Rosanne at DND Family Law, but everyone misspells my first name, so that's probably not going to work.
Awesome. Well, Rosanne, we're thrilled to have you here on the show, and
My pleasure.
to our audience. Until next episode, we hope that you, as you fail forward, because we all do, embrace the lesson of failing forward. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.